Jon Stewart was at Clusterfest in San Francisco where he gave a stand-up set. And in that set, he touched on a couple different issues that I want to discuss here. So he talked about the Democrats and Russia, and also on political correctness. So first, as the Daily Beast reported it, here are his comments about the Democrats and the Russia story. Quote, "In the same way that Donald Trump doesn't really care about the word cunt, let's be honest with ourselves," he said. "We don't really give a fuck about Russia. If the Russians had somehow helped Hillary Clinton and it had prevented Trump from being elected in the first place, Stewart said Democrats would have tried their best to look the other way. Quote, but now we've got to act like it's super important," he said, "because we think it could end his presidency. Fuck impeaching the guy. Fuck any of that stuff," he added. "Beat him in an election with ideas." Now, I think Jon Stewart is almost completely right, depending on how you view his quote here. So when he says that we don't really give a fuck about Russia, if he's just talking about the American people, talking about voters, I think he's completely right. I don't think most people give a shit about Russia. They have actual things going on in their lives. They have to pay for their medical bills. They need higher wages. They can't afford their next meal. They don't have a job. So there are a number of issues that are affecting real people in the country. That why would they be concerned about potential Trump-Russia collusion when they can't even afford to live? Now, if he was actually talking about we as in the Democratic Party, I don't really agree. I think the Democratic Party is clearly very focused on Russia, but I don't think he was saying that, so I don't even think it's even worth going down that path. But, I mean, that shows you the disconnect, though, between the Democratic Party and voters. So while the Democratic Party, and let's be real, the media, because the media is so focused on Trump and Russia, by extension, the Democratic Party has to answer questions and be focused on it. Now, if the media was focused on income inequality and, let's say, corporate influence in elections and how that has destroyed the economy and destroyed the country, then, yeah, the Democrats would also be more focused on income inequality and those issues because they would be asked questions about it. And there would be a reason to actually respond and have detailed answers for those questions. But because the media is so focused on Russia-Trump, then the Democratic Party is also focused on Russia-Trump. Now, that said, if there's something here, then I think Donald Trump should absolutely be charged. I mean, you have to set a precedent. So at some point, you have to draw the line. So we've had presidents start wars and drone people for no reason. Those presidents should have been held to account for their actions. Now, when it comes to Trump, even if he may be the first president held to account for his actions, you have to draw the line. You can't just allow presidents to come in and do whatever they want and get away with it. So if Trump did something wrong, then he should be held account for it. But at this point, I mean, let's let this whole investigation play out. This is what has been, to me, so crazy about the coverage about all this. The investigation is still going on. So does it need to really be focused on every single day? How about we actually wait for a result? And once the result comes, then we can all discuss it and figure out where to go from here. But because the investigation it's in process, to be focused on it and not be focused on what is happening in the country to real people, to me just seems absurd. Now, I want to go to Jon Stewart's next set of comments here, and this is on a totally different issue, but I think it's just as interesting. So this is on political correctness. He talked about how the rise of political correctness has made him stop using two words, fag and retarded, that he previously used unabashedly in both life and comedy. Quote, "We're not losing anything by being aware that our actions have consequences," Stewart said. But on the flip side, he added, "You have to be cognizant that not everyone who uses words like those are evil." Repeating a line he used during his talk earlier in the afternoon, Stewart said, "No matter how woke you are, everybody sleeps sometimes, and we have to fucking wake up together. Otherwise, we don't wake up at all." I 100% agree with everything Jon Stewart said there. So just to relate this to my own experience, growing up in high school, everyone used "that's gay." Anything that was stupid, you said "that's gay." Now, nobody uses that, and nobody should use that. So we get to a point where we realize that certain terms, certain phrases affect people in ways that we didn't think. And there is no reason to be attached to those phrases or words. Just change. So instead of saying that's gay, you could just say that's stupid. It's like, it amazes me that there are people out there that are offended by the idea that they can't use certain words. Now, first of all, the very base of that thought is incorrect. No, you can absolutely use whatever words you want. That's why we're in a free society. If you want to say that's gay, you can say that's gay. But you're not allowed to expect or you can't say that's gay and expect not to get consequences. So if you're going to go around saying that's gay instead of saying that's stupid, then people are going to react to that. So you're not free from someone's reaction to you using a phrase that bothers them. So why are you so stuck to a dumbass phrase? Now, I don't think anyone's really stuck to that's gay, but there are phrases out there that people are bothered that they can't use anymore. Now, there are two sides to this. So there are people, as Jon Stewart said, that, some people just aren't aware. So there has to be a grace period where we allow people to be informed on the issues and allow people to be informed that certain words you shouldn't use anymore because people are affected by that. So, for example, the word tranny. I think there was a grace period where, of about a few years where people started to learn that you can't use that word anymore, that it's disrespectful. It's been used as a slur against people in the transgender community for years and years and years. So what's so hard about not using something that has been used against somebody to push them down all their life? Why can't we evolve as humanity, as culture? Culturally, that's what we do. Culture evolves, it changes. And that's what we've done with the words we use. All across, the past language has changed so much over the course of the last 500 years. And that's normal. So the thought of fighting that and trying to hold on to words like tranny or phrases like that's gay, it's just absurd. There's no need to hold on to phrases like that. Culture evolves, language changes, and you just have to accept it. But at the same time, if you're somebody who is woke on this subject, then be nice about it. If somebody is using a word like that, then you can nicely approach them, to the side, not in front of everybody at like a party or something. Just approach them later or afterwards and say, you know what, I didn't like that you used that word, and I'll tell you why. It's been used against me all my life, and it's pushed me down as a person, and whatever. There are ways to approach this and educate people without shaming them. I am 100% against shame. Now, that said, I'm sure I've used shame in my own life against other people when I shouldn't have. Everyone's done it. But from my experience, shame rarely ever works. If you actually sit down and calmly explain to somebody what the problem is, then oftentimes you'll be amazed that if you're willing to be patient with somebody, you can actually inform them on a subject instead of turning them off. But if you're just a dick and you keep using these words and phrases, even though you're told that it bothers people, then you deserve all the hate and shit that you get. Because ultimately, we're trying to get to a society where we all get along. And if you're just being a dick on purpose, then you know what? Fuck you. Hey, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button below and consider throwing me a few bucks on Patreon at patreon.com/therationalnational or therationalnational.com/join.